Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are feeling good. In this video, I am going to talk to you all about the various mixing methods used in baking. If you know anything about baking, you will understand the importance of accurately measuring out all the ingredients. However, the way in which these ingredients are combined is equally as important. Many of the chemical reactions occur in the oven, however, some begin during the mixing process, and so by following the correct method we set the stage for success. I will talk through the main mixing methods commonly used for various baked goods, including some examples where I can. Now, I'm not so much referring to techniques such as whipping, beating, folding, more so methods that relate to specific products such as the creaming method and the angel food cake method. So let's begin. Number one, the straight dough method. What we do here is we combine all the ingredients and mix them together until the dough is smooth and developed. So this is commonly used for yeast raised breads. Although I have made bread before, this is not really an area I have a lot of experience in, so there's not really much more I can say about it. However, it is a very simple technique. Number two, the sponge and dough method. This is a two-stage process. We make what we call a sponge or pre-ferment by mixing together flour, yeast, any liquid and sugar. We allow that to ferment. This is then added to the remaining ingredients and mixed until the dough is smooth and well developed. This is often used for French bread, stollen, brioche, pouliche, levain. These are some examples that I made a note of, not really things that I've made before other than brioche. So it tends to be your more speciality yeast raised goods. Number three, the creaming method. This is one that I do happen to use very regularly, and you may well have heard of it yourself. So what we do is we take the fat and the sugar, beat that together until it is really light and fluffy. Then we gradually beat in the eggs, followed by folding in the dry ingredients, and finally any liquids such as milk. This is a really simple technique. It's commonly used for biscuits and cakes. Personally, I really like it. I feel that it produces a really nice light and fluffy cake that still holds up quite well. I do have a recipe up on my channel for the cake that I make using this method. If you want to go and check it out, I will link it in the description below. Number four, the liquid shortening method. What we do is we combine all the ingredients, mix them on a low speed, followed by a high speed, and then finally a medium speed to aerate. I have used this or something similar to make cakes before, such as a chocolate cake. The mixture tends to be a lot more fluid, so more like a batter. It's a very simple technique. There's not really much more I can say about it. I guess you would use it for things like pancakes. Number five, the two-stage or blending method, also known as the creaming method. What we do is we sift together our dry ingredients, beat in our softened fat, then add any liquids, finally followed by the eggs. This is all then beaten to aerate. I did try out the creaming method. I'm pretty sure I made a video about it. I wasn't a big fan. It did produce a really nice, moist and buttery cake, so nothing wrong with it as such. I just find that the creaming method gives a much more lighter and fluffier texture. However, I guess if you are looking for a cake that has a slightly tighter crumb and is maybe a little bit more firmer for stacking, this could be ideal for you. Number 6, the sponge or whipping method. So what we do is we take either whole eggs or just the egg yolks, whip this with sugar until really light and thick, add any liquids, followed by the sifted dry ingredients. And depending on the type of cake, we then might also fold in some melted butter, such as for a Genoese sponge, or whipped egg whites if the eggs were separated in the first place. Common examples include sponge cakes or biscuits, not biscuits as you might know them as such. This is a different kind of biscuit. Sponge cakes technically don't have any fat added to them. They are just eggs, sugar and flour. Also, Genoese sponge, as I already mentioned, this has the melted butter folded in, ladyfingers, madeleines, to name a few. Number 7, the angel food cake method. I have never made an angel food cake. Can you believe it? So for this cake or method, we take egg whites and sugar. We whisk those until soft peaks form and then fold in the dry ingredients. Because only egg whites are used, it does produce a very light cake that is pretty much white in colour. It tends to be best for filling with, say, fresh cream and fruit, as far as I know. And it is baked in a special kind of pan. It's like a ring-shaped pan. Maybe you have tried it yourself and you can tell me a little bit more. Number 8, the chiffon method. This is similar to the angel food cake method. And again, I have not made a chiffon cake before. So what we do is we take our dry ingredients, sift those together, then add in our oil and liquid ingredients and blend these until lightly combined. After that, we whisk the egg whites until soft peaks form, and finally fold this into the flour and oil mixture. This will produce a very light and fluffy cake if you get it right. That is slightly richer than the angel food cake because it's got the fat added. I feel that the angel food and chiffon cake methods are slightly more difficult to master, and they very much rely on the high amount of eggs for their volume. Number 9, the muffin or one-stage method. Very simple. We sift together our dry ingredients, then add any fat and liquids. The fat tends to be melted butter or oil, plus flavourings and inclusions. These are then mixed together until lightly combined. So the batter might be a little bit lumpy, and that's okay. So as you would have guessed, this is commonly used for muffins, but also quick breads, coffee cakes. And finally, number 10, the biscuit or pastry method. So we start by sifting together our dry ingredients. Solid fat is then either rubbed or cut in. We can do this by hand or by using the paddle attachment on a mixer, followed by gently stirring in any liquids. So this is commonly used for biscuits, scones, pie pastries such as a short crust pastry. My mum makes the most amazing short crust pastry. It is so tender and buttery, it just melts in the mouth. I believe the secret to this is gently handling the dough, because we don't want to develop too much gluten. So that is an overview of the most commonly used mixing methods for baked goods. Perhaps there are even more than this. Who knows? I think it's fascinating that by simply combining ingredients in a slightly different way, we can produce quite a different product. So, which one of these methods have you used? Let me know in the comments below. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!